Building a relationship with someone you've known for a long time creates a foundation of trust and familiarity. When you started dating your boyfriend, you had already known him for 7 years, which naturally made you feel safe with him. A long history with someone often leads to the assumption that you understand their character, values, and intentions. Because of this, you likely felt confident in the relationship from the very beginning, believing that his words and actions were genuine. There's a certain level of comfort that comes from dating someone who was previously a friend. Unlike meeting a stranger and going through the process of getting to know them, you already had years of interactions with him. This familiarity probably gave you the impression that you knew everything important about him, his background, personality, and morals. Because of this, you had no reason to suspect that he was hiding anything from you. A relationship built on friendship is often considered ideal because it suggests that both partners already have a deep emotional connection. You may have felt lucky to be with someone you trusted and had shared so much history with. Your belief in his honesty and loyalty was reinforced by the assumption that someone who had been in your life for so long wouldn't deceive you. Another factor that may have strengthened your trust was his behavior in the early stages of your relationship. Many people who are skilled at deception are also good at presenting themselves as trustworthy. If he was attentive, affectionate, and reliable in the beginning, it would have been even easier for you to believe in the relationship. Even if there were small red flags, your years of knowing him probably made it easy to dismiss them. However, trust is something that is built over time but can be shattered in an instant. When you later discovered the extent of his deception, it must have felt like the ground had been pulled from under you. Everything you had believed about your relationship, and even about the person you thought he was, turned out to be false. This kind of betrayal isn't just painful, it can also leave you questioning your own judgment. One of the most difficult parts of discovering such a deep betrayal is dealing with the emotional aftermath. When trust is broken in this way, it's natural to go back and analyze past events, wondering if there were signs you missed. You may have replayed conversations in your head, trying to make sense of the lies and wondering how someone you trusted could deceive you so completely. In addition to the emotional pain, this kind of betrayal can also create self-doubt. When someone you love lies so extensively, it can make you question whether you can ever fully trust someone again. You might even find yourself wondering if you were naive for believing in him. But the reality is, trusting someone you've known for years isn't a flaw, it's a normal expectation in a healthy relationship. The fact that he was able to deceive you so thoroughly says more about his character than about your ability to judge people. Ultimately, realizing that your trust was misplaced is heartbreaking, but it's also a learning experience. It shows that even people who seem familiar and safe can have hidden sides to them. While this realization is painful, it also serves as a reminder that trust should be based on consistent honesty and transparency, not just on the length of time you've known someone. The betrayal you experienced was especially devastating because it didn't just involve lies about small things, it involved fundamental aspects of his life. When someone fabricates their identity, their actions, and their relationships, it goes beyond ordinary dishonesty. It reveals a pattern of manipulation and a complete disregard for the feelings of others. This kind of experience can make it difficult to trust again in future relationships. However, it's important to remind yourself that not everyone is capable of this level of deception. While it may take time to rebuild your sense of trust, you will eventually be able to form healthy relationships again with people who truly deserve your trust. The pain of discovering such deep betrayal is overwhelming, but in time, you will find clarity. You will learn from this experience and use it to strengthen your ability to recognize red flags in the future. More importantly, you will come to realize that his actions were a reflection of who he is, not of your worth or ability to judge people. The discovery that your boyfriend had been cheating on you wasn't just a revelation about infidelity, it was a complete shattering of the reality you believed in. You found out that not only was he unfaithful, but he had also been involved in another serious relationship while being with you. On top of that, he had been cheating with multiple other women, which made it clear that his actions were not just a one-time mistake but an ongoing pattern of deceit. Infidelity on its own is already devastating, but what made this situation even more painful was the depth of his lies. He wasn't just lying about his romantic involvement with other women, he had constructed an entirely false version of his life. He misrepresented everything from his job to his living conditions and even his family situation. Each lie you uncovered revealed a deeper level of betrayal, making it harder to process and accept what had happened. One of the most shocking aspects of his deception was his involvement with escorts. This revelation added an entirely new layer of betrayal, as it suggested that his dishonesty wasn't just about emotional affairs but also about secretive and potentially dangerous behaviors. Discovering that someone you love and trust has been engaging in this kind of activity can be deeply unsettling. It not only raises concerns about morality but also about safety, both emotional and physical. When you care about someone deeply, you tend to take their words at face value. You trust them because you believe in the connection you share. However, realizing that everything he told you was a lie likely made you question every moment of your relationship. You may have replayed conversations, wondering if anything he ever said was true. Did he ever really love you? Was there ever a time when he was honest? Or was the entire relationship just an illusion? These questions can be incredibly painful and overwhelming. Another difficult aspect of discovering his deception is the feeling of humiliation that often accompanies betrayal. When someone lies so extensively, it can make you feel foolish for not seeing the truth sooner. You might start blaming yourself, wondering if you ignored red flags or if there were signs you should have noticed. However, it's important to remember that deception is not your fault. Someone who is skilled at lying and manipulation can make even the most observant person believe their false reality. The fact that you trusted him only shows that you are a person who believes in love and honesty, not that you were naive. In relationships, we often assume that the person we are with has the same values as us. If you are honest and loyal, you expect your partner to be as well. It's difficult to imagine that someone you love could be living a double life. But some people are capable of extreme deceit, and no amount of love, trust, or commitment can change that. His actions were a reflection of who he is, not of anything you did wrong. Processing betrayal on this level is incredibly painful, and it can take time to fully grasp the reality of the situation. When you find out that someone has been lying about major aspects of their life, it can feel like the entire relationship was built on quicksand. The foundation you thought was strong was actually fragile, and once the truth was revealed, everything crumbled. One of the hardest parts of discovering deception is the emotional roller coaster that follows. You may have gone through moments of disbelief, wondering if there was some kind of misunderstanding. Then, as the reality set in, you likely felt intense anger, not just at him, but at the situation as a whole. You may have felt grief, mourning the relationship you thought you had. And then there's the deep sadness that comes with realizing that the person you loved never truly existed in the way you believed. Betrayal of this magnitude can also make it difficult to trust future partners. When someone has lied to you so completely, it's natural to develop a sense of caution moving forward. You might find yourself questioning people's intentions or being overly skeptical in new relationships. While it's good to be aware of red flags, it's also important to remember that not everyone is like your ex. Some people are truly honest and loyal, and in time, you will be able to open your heart again. Right now, the pain of this betrayal might feel overwhelming, but eventually, you will gain clarity. You will come to understand that his actions had nothing to do with you and everything to do with his own dishonesty and lack of integrity. While you may never get all the answers you seek, you will heal, and you will come out of this experience stronger than before. In addition to your relationship, you also had a close friendship with someone you had known for 5 years. This friend was someone you trusted, confided in, and considered a stable presence in your life. Throughout your friendship, you had never experienced any serious issues, just small disagreements that were quickly resolved. For years, she had been someone you could rely on, and her support likely played a significant role in your life, especially during tough times. Because of your trust in her, you had no reason to believe that anything would ever change. Friendships, especially those that have lasted for years, often feel like a safe space where you can be yourself without fear of betrayal. You shared personal moments, experiences, and possibly even details about your relationship with your boyfriend, assuming she was genuinely on your side. At some point during your relationship, this friend had met your boyfriend a few times. While you didn't think much of it at the time, looking back, you now find yourself questioning whether there was something more happening behind the scenes. Since discovering his infidelity, you have begun re-evaluating every interaction, every sign, and every unexplained behavior. Could she have been involved with him in some way? Was she hiding something from you? Or was it all just a coincidence? A strong friendship should come with loyalty, honesty, and a sense of security. However, when someone starts acting out of character, especially during a period when you are already dealing with betrayal, it raises questions. While it's natural for people to grow apart or for friendships to change over time, her sudden and unexplained withdrawal from your life stands out as unusual. If nothing had happened between her and your ex, why would she become so cold toward you? Why would she suddenly start acting distant? It is possible that she was struggling with something personal that she never shared with you. But given the timing, coinciding with the discovery of your boyfriend's infidelity, it's understandable why your instincts are telling you that something might have been wrong. When trust is broken in a romantic relationship, it often causes a ripple effect in other areas of your life. It makes you question not only your partner but also the people around you. You start wondering whether you can trust your own judgment. Could she have betrayed you too? Did you miss the signs? These thoughts are difficult to process, especially when you have no concrete proof but a gut feeling that something isn't right. Another possible explanation is that your friend may have known about your boyfriend's infidelity before you did. If she had been aware of his actions and never told you, it would explain why she suddenly became distant. She might have felt guilty for not warning you or uncomfortable being around you, knowing what she knew. Sometimes, people who are caught in the middle of a difficult situation choose to pull away instead of confronting the truth. Regardless of the reasons behind her behavior, losing a close friend at the same time as discovering your boyfriend's betrayal must have been incredibly painful. When we go through heartbreak, we often turn to our closest friends for comfort and support. But in this case, instead of standing by you, she disappeared. This likely left you feeling abandoned and even more hurt than you already were. Friendship and romantic relationships are both built on trust, and when that trust is broken, it can shake your entire sense of security. Whether or not she was involved with your ex in any way, the fact that she withdrew from your life when you needed her most is a betrayal in itself. A true friend would have been there for you, offering reassurance and standing by your side as you navigated the pain of your breakup. Looking back, you might feel frustrated that you didn't see the change in her behavior earlier. But it's important to remember that you were not in the wrong for trusting her. Friendships, like relationships, require vulnerability, and you had every reason to believe that she valued your friendship as much as you did. As painful as this experience is, it has given you insight into the people in your life. Some people show their true colors in difficult times. If she was willing to walk away from your friendship without explanation, it might mean she was never as loyal to you as you were to her. Losing her might feel like another betrayal, but in the long run, you deserve friends who are honest, supportive, and willing to stand by you even in difficult moments. Moving forward, you may not get all the answers you are looking for. Your ex has denied any involvement with her, and she has chosen not to explain her behavior. While this uncertainty is frustrating, the most important thing is to trust yourself. Your instincts are telling you that something was off, and even if you never get full confirmation, you can choose to walk away from people who make you feel unsettled. Friendships, like relationships, should bring you peace, not doubt. If someone suddenly changes their behavior without explanation and refuses to offer clarity, they are showing you who they truly are. No matter what happened, the way she treated you in the end was unfair, and you deserve better. Friendships, much like romantic relationships, thrive on consistency, communication, and trust. When someone you've known for years suddenly starts behaving differently without explanation, it naturally raises concerns. In your case, your friend's behavior took a drastic shift toward the end of your relationship with your ex-boyfriend. Her coldness and distance weren't just subtle changes, they were abrupt and noticeable, which made them even more painful and confusing. One of the most significant moments in this change occurred on your birthday. Birthdays are a time when we expect to feel loved and appreciated by those closest to us. Friends usually make an effort to celebrate, even if it's something small like sending a thoughtful message or making plans to meet. But on this particular birthday, your friend didn't acknowledge you at all until 10 p.m., almost as if she had forgotten or didn't care enough to prioritize reaching out. To make things worse, your boyfriend at the time had already ruined the day for you. Instead of celebrating with him, you found yourself in tears, hurt by an argument he started, which led to the cancellation of your plans. When your friend finally called you late at night, she was unaware of the emotional state you were already in. At that point, you were so upset that all you wanted was comfort, so you asked her if she could meet you the next day to spend time together. She agreed, which probably gave you a sense of relief. At least you had a friend who was willing to be there for you. However, the next day, she didn't call, didn't message, and didn't show up. No explanation, no apology, just complete silence. It was as if she had vanished from your life overnight. At first, you might have given her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she got busy. Maybe something came up. But as days passed, it became clear that this wasn't an accident or simple forgetfulness. She had intentionally ignored your plans and then refused to address it. When you finally messaged her to ask why she hadn't shown up, her response was cold and dismissive, leaving you with even more unanswered questions. This sudden shift in her behavior was not only unexpected but also deeply hurtful. For 5 years, you had shared a close friendship, and she had never treated you this way before. If there had been any major conflict between you, it would have made sense for her to distance herself. But that wasn't the case. You had no serious arguments or unresolved issues that would explain why she was suddenly acting differently. What makes her change in behavior even more suspicious is the timing. It happened around the same time that you started noticing issues in your relationship with your boyfriend. This connection between the two events naturally led you to wonder if they were related. Could she have been involved with him in some way? Was there something she knew that she wasn't telling you? Or was it purely a coincidence that she distanced herself just as your relationship was falling apart? If she was truly your friend, she would have noticed that you were struggling. She would have seen that your boyfriend was treating you poorly and would have wanted to be there to support you. Instead, she disappeared at a time when you needed her the most. It's also important to consider the fact that she initially pretended everything was fine. When she spoke to you on your birthday night, she agreed to meet up, giving you hope that she would be there for you. If she had already decided to cut ties, why didn't she just tell you then? Her actions suggest that she wasn't being fully honest about her intentions. Her coldness wasn't just about missing plans, it extended beyond that. Even when you tried to reach out later, her responses remained distant and unfriendly. When you attempted to understand what had happened, she refused to give a clear explanation. Her words through your mutual friend made it even clearer: she had no interest in reconnecting with you. Instead of addressing the situation directly, she put the responsibility on you, saying that you could reach out if you wanted, but making it clear that she had no intention of making an effort herself. This level of detachment is not how a close friend should act. If she truly cared about your friendship, she would have at least given you an explanation. Even if something had happened between her and your ex, or if she had learned something that she didn't know how to tell you, she should have communicated with you instead of simply shutting you out. The pain of losing a friend in this way can be just as heartbreaking as a romantic breakup. When someone you trusted for years suddenly treats you like a stranger, it can feel like a betrayal. You find yourself replaying moments from your friendship, wondering what changed and why. At the same time, her actions speak for themselves. Whether or not she was involved with your ex in any way, her decision to walk away without explanation shows that she wasn't the friend you thought she was. A real friend would have been there for you, not disappeared without a word. It's understandable that you're questioning everything right now. When multiple betrayals happen at the same time, it makes you doubt your own judgment. But what's important to remember is that the way people treat you is a reflection of them, not of you. Her actions were her choice, and while they hurt, they also reveal the kind of person she truly is. Even though you may never get the full truth from her, you now have clarity about one thing: she was not the kind of friend you need in your life. You deserve friends who are honest, loyal, and willing to communicate with you instead of silently disappearing. Losing her may feel like a loss now, but in time, you will see that letting go of people who don't value you is the best thing you can do for yourself. When someone close to you changes their behavior suddenly and without explanation, it leaves behind a series of unanswered questions. Your friend's cold and distant attitude, paired with your discovery of your boyfriend's infidelity, naturally led to a deeper sense of suspicion. Given the timing of these two events, it's understandable that you started wondering whether something had transpired between them. Your gut feeling, the sense that something is off, isn't something to ignore. Our instincts often pick up on small, unspoken details that our conscious mind may not immediately process. The way your friend's behavior shifted, her lack of communication, and the fact that she seemed to withdraw from you without a clear reason all contribute to the sense that something might have happened between her and your ex-boyfriend. The biggest red flag in this situation is that you never had any major issues with her before. A falling out between friends typically has a clear cause: a disagreement, a betrayal, a misunderstanding. But in your case, there was no fight, no argument, and no obvious reason for her to start treating you differently. If nothing had happened, then why did she distance herself so abruptly? One possibility is that she was aware of your boyfriend's infidelity before you found out. If she knew about his cheating but didn't tell you, that could explain why she started acting guilty and uncomfortable around you. Maybe she felt caught in the middle, unsure whether to expose him or stay silent. Some people, when placed in such a situation, choose to withdraw instead of confronting the truth. Her coldness might have been her way of avoiding an uncomfortable conversation. However, the possibility that she was more than just an observer is something that you can't ignore. Was she one of the women he was cheating with? Did something happen between them behind your back? If she was innocent, why wouldn't she have reassured you, explained her distance, or at least tried to comfort you when you were going through such a painful discovery? The fact that she didn't make any effort to clear things up makes the situation even more suspicious. You even confronted your ex-boyfriend about the possibility that something had happened between him and your friend, but he denied it. However, given that he had already proven himself to be a liar, his word holds little credibility. A person who has lied about every aspect of their life isn't likely to suddenly start telling the truth when caught. It's entirely possible that something did happen, but he simply refuses to admit it. Even if nothing physical ever happened between them, there is still a sense of emotional betrayal. A true friend wouldn't act distant without explanation. If she had no involvement with him, she would have at least been there for you during your heartbreak. Her decision to remove herself from your life, just as you were uncovering the truth about your relationship, suggests that she wanted to avoid something, whether it was guilt, confrontation, or revealing a secret she had been keeping. The unanswered questions in this situation make it difficult to find closure. You've been left with no clear answers, only suspicions, and a gut feeling that refuses to go away. When people refuse to give explanations, it forces you to piece things together on your own. The mind naturally tries to make sense of the situation, and in doing so, it revisits every interaction, every moment, and every possible sign that could have pointed to the truth. You might find yourself wondering, were there times when my friend and boyfriend seemed too close? Did she ever act secretive about her interactions with him? Could there have been signs that I missed because I trusted them both? It's frustrating because no matter how much you analyze the past, the truth remains uncertain. Without a confession from either of them, all you are left with is speculation. However, even without definitive proof, your feelings are valid. The combination of your ex's infidelity and your friend's sudden withdrawal is too significant to ignore. The biggest takeaway from this situation is that trust, once broken, is difficult to rebuild. Your ex shattered your trust through his lies and infidelity, and your friend broke your trust by distancing herself at a time when you needed her the most. Regardless of whether or not something happened between them, she failed you as a friend. Instead of offering support, she walked away without giving you the respect of an explanation. At this point, it's up to you to decide how much energy you want to spend seeking the truth. Sometimes, we don't get all the answers we want. Some people choose to take their secrets to the grave, and trying to uncover every detail may only cause you more pain. What you do know for certain is that both your ex and your friend showed you their true colors. Neither of them respected you enough to be honest. Ultimately, what matters most is that you listen to your own intuition. If your gut is telling you that something isn't right, trust yourself. You don't need confirmation from them to acknowledge that their behavior was suspicious and hurtful. At some point, it's better to let go of the need for closure and accept that some people are simply not meant to remain in your life. Losing both a romantic partner and a close friend at the same time is incredibly painful, but it also clears space for better people to enter your life, people who will treat you with honesty, respect, and loyalty. Discovering that your boyfriend was cheating on you was already a heartbreaking and deeply painful experience. It shattered your trust, made you question your judgment, and left you feeling deceived by someone you had loved and been with for years. But on top of that, losing a close friend at the same time added another layer of emotional devastation. Betrayal from one person is painful, but betrayal from two people you trusted can feel overwhelming and deeply disorienting. One of the most difficult aspects of this situation is that you were blindsided. You had known your boyfriend for 7 years before entering a relationship with him, and you thought you knew him well. Similarly, your friendship with this woman had lasted for 5 years, and you never had major conflicts. Because of this history, you had no reason to doubt either of them. The realization that both of these people had deceived you, or, at the very least, had withdrawn from you in a way that felt suspicious, must have left you questioning everything. This kind of betrayal can have a significant emotional impact. It doesn't just hurt in the moment, it shakes your entire sense of security and trust in relationships. You may find yourself wondering, can I trust my own instincts? You believed your boyfriend was faithful. You believed your friend cared about you. And yet, both of them let you down in ways you never expected. This can make you question your ability to judge people's true intentions. Will I ever be able to fully trust anyone again? After experiencing multiple betrayals at once, it's natural to put up emotional walls to protect yourself. You may feel hesitant about opening up to new friends or relationships, fearing that you might be deceived again. Was there something I did wrong? Even though the betrayal was not your fault, it's common to replay events in your head, wondering if there were signs you missed or actions you could have taken to prevent this from happening. These thoughts can lead to self-doubt and emotional exhaustion. Betrayal, especially when it comes from multiple people at once, can trigger deep feelings of loneliness, sadness, and even anger. You might go through phases of emotional turmoil, feeling devastated one moment and furious the next. This is completely normal. When trust is broken, it's like a part of your world collapses, and it takes time to rebuild your sense of stability. The grief of losing a relationship and a friendship. In many ways, this situation is similar to experiencing two breakups at once, one with a romantic partner and one with a close friend. While romantic relationships and friendships are different, both involve deep emotional bonds. Losing both people at the same time can leave you feeling abandoned and isolated. Grief is not just about losing a person, it's about losing the future you imagined with them. You may have envisioned a long-term relationship with your boyfriend, possibly marriage or building a life together. You may have imagined your friend standing by your side for years to come, sharing important moments and supporting each other through life's ups and downs. With both relationships now gone, it's natural to feel a sense of emptiness. You might also feel anger and resentment toward both of them. Anger at your ex-boyfriend for his repeated lies and cheating. Anger at your friend for distancing herself without explanation. The lack of closure from both of them makes it even harder to move on because you are left with so many unresolved emotions. At the same time, there may be moments when you miss them. Even after being betrayed, it's natural to long for the connection you once had. Humans are wired to seek emotional bonds, and losing important people, even those who have hurt us, can leave a painful void. The impact on self-worth and confidence. Betrayal doesn't just affect trust, it can also impact your self-esteem. You might start questioning your worth, wondering, why wasn't I enough for my boyfriend? If he was seeing multiple other women, it can make you feel like you weren't good enough, even though his actions were never about you, they were a reflection of his own lack of integrity. Why did my friend abandon me? When someone cuts you off without explanation, it can make you feel unworthy of their friendship, even though her behavior was likely about her own guilt or personal issues. Am I easily fooled by people? Being deceived by two people you trusted can make you feel naive, even though the reality is that you were simply kind-hearted and trusting. These thoughts can be incredibly damaging if left unchecked. Betrayal often leaves people with lingering self-doubt, making them question their worth and desirability in relationships. It's important to remind yourself that this situation was not a reflection of your value as a person. The fact that they hurt you says more about them than it does about you. Coping with the emotional pain. Healing from this kind of betrayal takes time, and the pain won't disappear overnight. However, there are steps you can take to help yourself move forward. Allow yourself to feel everything, you don't have to suppress your emotions. It's okay to cry, feel angry, or even feel numb at times. Suppressing emotions can prolong the healing process, so allow yourself to grieve. Talk to someone you trust, whether it's another close friend, a family member, or a therapist. Talking about your feelings can help process the pain. Keeping everything inside can make it harder to heal. Write down your thoughts. Journaling can be a powerful tool for processing emotions. Writing down what happened, how you feel, and what you've learned from this experience can provide clarity and emotional relief. Avoid seeking revenge. When betrayed, it's tempting to seek revenge or confront those who hurt you. However, focusing on healing rather than retaliation will bring you more peace in the long run. Take care of yourself. Self-care is essential during this time. Engaging in activities that bring you joy, such as exercise, hobbies, or meditation, can help restore emotional balance. Remind yourself that their actions were about them, not you. The betrayal you experienced was due to their choices, not because of any flaw in you. Your boyfriend cheated because of his own dishonesty and lack of integrity. Your friend withdrew for reasons only she knows, but her actions don't define your worth. Recognize the lessons in this experience. While painful, this experience has likely taught you valuable lessons about trust, boundaries, and the importance of surrounding yourself with people who genuinely care about you. Moving forward. Although this betrayal has deeply hurt you, it does not define you. You are more than this experience, and you will emerge from it stronger. While it may take time, you will eventually rebuild your trust in people, starting with yourself. The most important thing is to be kind to yourself. Healing isn't linear, and some days will be harder than others. But with time, reflection, and self-care, you will regain your confidence, rebuild your sense of trust, and move forward with a stronger sense of self-worth. After experiencing a betrayal as painful as yours, it's completely understandable that you might develop trust issues. When two people you deeply cared about, a romantic partner and a close friend, let you down in such a significant way, it shakes the very foundation of your ability to trust others. This isn't just about them hurting you in the moment, it's about the lasting impact their actions have on your future relationships, both romantic and platonic. Trust is built on consistency, honesty, and mutual respect. When it is broken by someone you trusted completely, it can be extremely difficult to rebuild, not just with them but with others as well. Even though your ex and former friend are no longer in your life, their betrayal may still affect how you interact with new people, whether it's in friendships or romantic relationships. How betrayal changes the way you view trust. When someone we love betrays us, it often leads to a change in how we approach relationships moving forward. Here are some ways you might find yourself thinking or behaving differently. Increased skepticism. You may now find yourself second-guessing people's words and actions, wondering if they're truly being honest with you. It's harder to take things at face value when you've been deceived before. Fear of being hurt again. The pain of betrayal can make you hesitant to open up to new people. You may fear that if you get too close to someone, they will end up hurting you in the same way your ex or your friend did. Overanalyzing people's actions. You may find yourself constantly looking for red flags, questioning small things that others do or say because you don't want to miss any warning signs like you may have in the past. Struggles with emotional vulnerability. Trusting someone requires vulnerability, but after a betrayal, being vulnerable feels risky. You might feel the need to keep people at a distance to protect yourself. Self-doubt and insecurity, even though you know logically that the betrayal wasn't your fault, there might still be moments where you wonder, was I too trusting? Did I ignore warning signs? Can I really trust my own judgment? All of these reactions are normal after being hurt in such a profound way. However, if they remain unaddressed, they can create barriers in your ability to form healthy and fulfilling relationships in the future. Rebuilding trust, a step-by-step process. Healing from betrayal and learning to trust again doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, and it requires conscious effort. Here are some steps to help you move forward. Acknowledge that your feelings are valid. You have every right to feel the way you do. Betrayal is painful, and it takes time to recover from. Don't rush your healing process, allow yourself to feel all the emotions that come with it. Separate the past from the present. Not everyone will treat you the way your ex-boyfriend and friend did. It's important to remind yourself that just because they hurt you, it doesn't mean that everyone else will. Avoid letting their actions define all future relationships. Take things slowly in new relationships. Whether it's a friendship or a romantic relationship, take your time before fully trusting someone. Let them show you, through their actions over time, that they are reliable and trustworthy. Trust isn't built in a day, it's earned. Set healthy boundaries. One way to protect yourself from future hurt is to set clear boundaries in your relationships. Make sure you're surrounded by people who respect you, communicate openly, and treat you with kindness. Listen to your intuition, not your fears. There's a difference between a gut feeling and anxiety caused by past trauma. If your instincts tell you that something is off, listen to them. But if you find yourself doubting someone for no real reason other than your past experience, take a step back and try to separate past fears from present reality. Seek out healthy relationships. Surround yourself with people who have demonstrated honesty, kindness, and loyalty. Being around people who treat you well will help restore your faith in human relationships over time. Practice self-compassion. Remind yourself that you are not at fault for what happened. You trusted because you are a kind and loving person, and that is not a weakness, it's a strength. The right people will appreciate and value that about you. Consider professional support. If you find that your trust issues are severely impacting your ability to form new relationships, therapy or counseling might be helpful. A therapist can provide guidance on how to work through your emotions in a healthy way. Signs of trustworthy people. As you move forward and begin forming new relationships, it's helpful to recognize the qualities of trustworthy people. Here are some key traits to look for. Consistency, they show up for you regularly and don't disappear unexpectedly. Honesty, they communicate openly and don't hide things from you. Respect for boundaries, they respect your personal space, emotions, and limits. Accountability, they take responsibility for their actions instead of making excuses. Loyalty, they stand by you through good times and bad, not just when it's convenient for them. When you meet people who embody these qualities, remind yourself that not everyone is like your ex-boyfriend and former friend. There are genuine, kind, and honest people in the world who will appreciate and respect you for who you are. The road to emotional healing. Right now, it may feel like your ability to trust has been permanently damaged. But over time, as you meet new people, have new experiences, and build relationships with those who treat you well, your faith in trust and connection will slowly be restored. The pain of betrayal doesn't define you. What defines you is how you choose to heal from it and the strength you gain in the process. By learning from this experience and surrounding yourself with people who truly value you, you will rebuild trust, not just in others, but in yourself. One of the hardest aspects of dealing with betrayal is the lack of closure. When you've been hurt by someone close to you, whether it's a romantic partner or a friend, you often long for answers. Why did they do it? What were their reasons? What could you have done differently? The pain of not having these questions answered can leave you feeling incomplete and stuck in the past. In your case, the betrayal from both your ex-boyfriend and your former friend left you with a series of unresolved questions. You didn't receive the honesty or explanations you deserved. Your ex denied any involvement with your friend, but given his history of lying, his word isn't trustworthy. Similarly, your friend withdrew from you without providing any clarity, leaving you in a state of confusion about her actions. This lack of closure can make it much harder to heal because you're left constantly questioning what happened and why they chose to betray you. However, it's important to understand that sometimes closure isn't something we can get from the people who hurt us. Some people are unwilling or unable to offer the answers we seek. They may choose to remain silent, deny their actions, or simply walk away, leaving us with nothing but pain and unanswered questions. In these cases, finding closure has to come from within, learning to accept that some answers may never come, and that's okay. The importance of self-closure. Self-closure is the process of accepting the situation for what it is and finding peace within yourself, without relying on the other person to make things right. It's about letting go of the need for answers and choosing to move forward with your life, despite the lack of resolution. While it's natural to want closure, you may never get the full picture, and that's something you'll need to accept in order to heal. Here are some steps you can take to help find self-closure and peace. Accept what happened. The first step in finding closure is accepting that the betrayal happened. This may sound simple, but it's actually a crucial part of the healing process. Acknowledge the pain, but also accept that these people did not respect you, and they were not the right people to have in your life. Let go of the need for explanations. Constantly searching for answers or trying to figure out why they betrayed you can keep you stuck in the past. While it's normal to want to know what happened, understand that sometimes the answers you seek may not be available. Let go of the need for a perfect resolution and choose to focus on moving forward instead. Forgive, not for them, but for yourself. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It doesn't mean excusing someone's actions or saying that what they did is okay. It means releasing the grip that their betrayal has on you. Holding on to anger or resentment keeps you emotionally tied to the situation. Forgiving them, in this sense, is a way of freeing yourself from their control over your emotions. Focus on your own growth. Rather than dwelling on what was lost, try to focus on how you can grow from this experience. Think about the lessons you've learned about trust, boundaries, and self-respect. By turning the focus to your personal growth, you shift the narrative from one of victimhood to one of empowerment. Surround yourself with support. Closure doesn't happen in isolation. It's crucial to have a support system around you, people who care about you and help you through your emotional healing. Lean on friends and family who are supportive and who will encourage you to move forward, not dwell in the past. Create a new narrative. While the betrayal was painful, it doesn't define you. You get to choose how this experience shapes your future. Write a new narrative for yourself, one where you are stronger, wiser, and more capable of recognizing red flags and protecting yourself from future harm. Build a future that you're excited about. Sometimes, the best way to move on is to focus on your own future. Set goals for yourself that excite you, whether they're related to your career, hobbies, travel, or personal development. By investing in your own happiness and growth, you begin to reclaim control over your life. Letting go and moving on. Letting go of a relationship that no longer serves you, whether romantic or platonic, is incredibly difficult, but it's also one of the most powerful things you can do for your own healing. As painful as it may be to accept, your ex-boyfriend and friend no longer have a place in your life. Their actions showed you who they truly are, and it's not the kind of person you deserve to have around. Letting go means not holding on to the past anymore, whether that's holding on to hope that things could have turned out differently or obsessing over what could have been. It's about recognizing that your future holds far more potential than staying tied to someone who has hurt you. It's also about embracing your worth and knowing that you deserve love, trust, and respect, things that your ex and your friend failed to offer. The right people will come into your life when you're ready to open yourself to them, and they will treat you with the care and respect you've always deserved. Moving forward with strength. The end of a relationship, especially one tainted by betrayal, can feel like the end of a chapter in your life. But it's important to remember that every ending brings a new beginning. By finding closure, letting go, and learning from this painful experience, you're making room for healthier, more fulfilling relationships in the future. You are stronger than you know. The betrayal you experience does not define you, but how you choose to move forward will. Take the lessons you've learned and apply them to your future interactions. Trust that you are worthy of real love, real friendship, and respect. And know that, in time, you'll be able to trust again, just with more awareness, more wisdom, and a deeper sense of self-respect.